Hello and welcome to CBC News. As you all know, budget is going to be presented soon, and today we are having a very special guest with us in the studio. Meet Mr. Rishi, advisor to CEO Econ, to give us industry expectations. Over to Mr. Rishi.
Born and bred in Kenya and have enjoyed the various things Kenya has to offer, especially people must have heard of the wildlife, the safaris. It's a huge passion of mine after finance.
My very first question is, what can be done to support the manufacturing industry in India, according to you?
There are a few points, and that's an excellent question. The first and foremost thing is it's very difficult. There are a lot of barriers to entry to get into the industry, the manufacturing industry in India. It's difficult to get the land. It's very difficult to get industrial land. Once you've managed to get the land, there's a lack of knowledge, a huge lack of knowledge about the quality of the product, how to produce it, how to maintain the quality. And also there's no consistent marketing by the government itself.
Very true.
So, I mean, as someone new coming into it, it's extremely difficult. You look at the MSMEs, how it's virtually impossible if you're starting out to get the grants for the MSMEs. Sure. It takes a lot of time, and obviously, as you know, in manufacturing, time, I mean, it's a cliche, but time is money. So the government really needs to step in. They can, with grants, tax rebates. There is the export processing zones, the EPZs. If you look at many other countries, developing countries, the government has set up the EPZs, but they don't strictly say you have to export 100% of your product. They allow 20, 30, 15% to be sold domestically, which obviously helps as well. In terms of infrastructure, if you take the smaller towns in India where the manufacturing process is ongoing, the road connectivity, the infrastructure, it's lacking, and that creates a cost that's just not required.
Make in India program, how do you find it accessible to the common man, or what?
I think first and foremost, the bureaucracy needs to be crossed out completely. The people that are trying to get these grants for the Made in India, that's not their primary job. They have a primary job that they have to feed their families, and in the meantime they're trying to get these grants. And with the bureaucracy, it's very difficult for them, and that needs to be cut out. That's where the government needs to say, get on an online platform, put your submission in, guarantee that it's going to be accepted or rejected within X number of days. So that's again down to the government. I mean, the government really, really needs to market their people. They need to market the manufacturing industry. They need to market the individual applying for all of these grants. And they really, really need to help them make that process shorter, define the terms of the process, and so that we can get on with it, we can get the work going.
So if I ask, what should be the marketing strategies according to you?
I wouldn't say strategy, but the definition, the requirement should be definitely the infrastructure. They need to improve the infrastructure as a starting point. They need to create that awareness about manufacturing, about the quality of the product. And we spoke about China earlier. We need to create awareness of how to make manufacturing cost effective. Increase the amount of manufacturing industrial land, for example. It all comes down to the government. The common man, as you said, Made in India scheme, the common man is ready. They just need to be allowed to enter this industry. A lot of focus is being given, obviously, to tech currently.
Yes.
But we need to create this industrial culture, basically.
Okay. What are the issues facing smaller town involved in manufacturing?
Like I said, the infrastructure definitely. A lot of industrial...
So infrastructure is the key,
yes,
right?
Definitely. I mean, a lot of the industrial estates, or what you call them here, are out of them, obviously past the suburban area. They just, and the lack, for example, the lack of connectivity just to the highways. So that's key. That's key. Also, it's an excellent question in the sense that when you're trying to draw the younger qualified people, these sort of people, the youngsters, they want to be, they want to be seen in the bigger mega cities, you know, with the restaurants and the hotels and the clubs. You know, it's a lifestyle and it's the way they portray themselves. So these smaller cities need to attract these youngsters, and it's not always a question of money. We need to make it more attractive to the younger people, possibly through changing the image of the smaller towns. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be in Delhi to be successful or to be seen as successful.
It's sort of brain drain, right?
It's not a brain drain. No,
Then what would you call it?
I mean, you could call it. Yes, of course, you could call it a brain drain. I mean, whether it's Delhi or New York or London, it is a brain drain. But it's also that people want to be. They want to be seen in these restaurants. They on social media. You know, they want to be. If you go to a smaller town and you know,
They need more exposure.
Exactly. But the thing is, the potential is in these smaller towns, and we need. Again, through the marketing we discussed earlier, we need to show everybody, we need to show the youngsters, the qualified people, that you know this is the future.
What are the delays unrelated to production that could be minimized?
Unrelated to production, I mean, there's a lot of bureaucracy within, for example, the ports. Just to get the licenses and to clearance to the port, that the time delay again costs a lot of money. There's various tax, I mean everything is online, but there's still like tax issues and processes that delay you work as hard as you can to fill your container on time, but then you're delayed at the port, you're delayed by the taxman. And again, like I said before, I mean the infrastructure. You've got your container filled, but it's no way, there's no way to get it to the port within the set amount of time.
What will you tell the people?
Well, like we said earlier, I mean, the onus is on the government, but the individual could start by educating themselves about the product and the quality.
Yes.
Once you understand that, the rest will come. The financial backing, the access to land, that will come. But as long as they're well educated in the product itself, the manufacturing of the product and the end quality, there'll always be a success.
Education system need to be changed.
I won't comment on the education system. If you look at the CEOs, top CEOs around the world, we all know most of them are from India. So I would not say there's an issue with education of India. I would just say in this particular sector, there is there's a potential to be educated more.
Okay.
In this particular sector.
And how can we do that?
I think it's a question of perhaps the government turning to the market leaders in manufacturing at the moment. I say market leaders, it doesn't have to be the big business houses we're all aware of. There's big market leaders in every small town who are aware of the situation. They have the knowledge of how to fix the situation, and there needs to be that involvement with them and the government.
From last 4 years, you have been in India. Could you please throw some light on this, your experiences? We just want to know.
I've been working with and advising the Econ Group of Company. Econ is the largest exporter of PVC products in India, mainly to the US, but also to Europe and other countries.
Okay.
And Econ is an example of a market leader thriving in a small town. However, if you put into perspective, if the infrastructure had and can and will be better, there's no limit to what a manufacturing company can do in a small town. I mean, I don't need to tell you the basics, you know, like how many people benefit, how many families benefit, you know, from just that manufacturing. Econ itself employs 300 people, but that's not the only people that are dependent on them. There's another, you know, whether it's their suppliers, you know, thousands of families count on this one company. And if we had a little bit more help in the manufacturing industry, it could be hundreds of thousands of families benefiting from it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, he is Rishi Dave, a qualified CA. We have talked about so many issues today, including manufacturing and all that. Hope you would like it.